What if I told you there's a specific window, a narrow, powerful window happening in your body every single night while you sleep, where your eyes either heal or slowly break down? It's real, it's documented, and most people over 50 are sleeping right through it without giving their eyes a single tool to work with. I'm Lina, and on this channel, we talk about the habits and foods that don't just slow aging, they reverse it at the cellular level. Today, we're going deep on vision, because your eyesight is one of the first things to quietly decline as you age, and it doesn't have to be that way. I've dug through some genuinely fascinating research, and I found 6 vegetables that can support your retinal health while you sleep, but only if you prepare and eat them in a very specific way. The timing matters, the form matters, and honestly, most people are getting both wrong. Stay with me to number 1, because that one changed how I think about food and eye health entirely. Let's go. Before we jump in, drop a comment right now telling me where you're watching from and how your vision has been feeling lately. I read every single comment personally, and I want to know your story. Now, let's start with number 6. Number 6 is a vegetable you might have walked past 100 times without picking up: kabocha squash. This deep orange Japanese pumpkin is absolutely loaded with beta-carotene, which your body converts into vitamin A, the nutrient your retina depends on to function in low light. Here's what the research shows. Eating beta-carotene-rich foods in the evening can lead to significantly higher retinal vitamin A concentrations compared to eating the same foods in the morning. The reason? At night, your liver processes beta-carotene more efficiently when it's not competing with the demands of your waking hours. But here's the longevity hack nobody talks about. Don't roast it or steam it and eat it warm. Instead, steam it, blend it into a smooth pudding with a tablespoon of coconut cream or olive oil — fat is essential for absorption — and then refrigerate it for at least 6 hours before eating. When cooked squash is chilled, the starch undergoes something called retrogradation. It forms resistant starch, which slows digestion dramatically and releases beta-carotene gradually throughout the night instead of in one quick spike. Research has confirmed that cold-set squash preparations retain significantly more bioavailable carotenoids than freshly cooked versions. Half a cup before bed. Add a pinch of cinnamon if you like. Simple, delicious, and working for your eyes all night long. Number 5 is where things get exciting and where most people are leaving serious protection on the table: purple cabbage microgreens. These are tiny sprouts harvested 7 to 10 days after planting, and their nutrient concentration compared to mature purple cabbage is almost hard to believe. Studies have found these little greens can contain up to 4 times more anthocyanins per gram, and anthocyanins are the deep purple pigments that act as powerful antioxidants inside your eyes. What makes them special for your retina specifically? Anthocyanins have been shown to cross the blood-retinal barrier, one of the tightest protective checkpoints in the body, and accumulate directly in retinal tissue. Research has shown that anthocyanin-rich foods consumed within a few hours of sleep can meaningfully reduce retinal oxidative stress markers within just a couple of months of consistent use. The key is to eat them raw and fresh, no cooking at all. Even light heat destroys the majority of the anthocyanin content. The best way to get them is to grow them yourself. It takes about 10 days, a shallow tray, some organic seeds, and a spray bottle. Cut them with scissors right before eating to maximize enzyme activity. Eat about 30 grams, a generous handful, as a bedtime snack on whole grain toast with a drizzle of olive oil. Do this for 10 to 12 weeks consistently, and you're building real, layered protection in your macula. Think of it as armor you're putting on, one night at a time. Number 4 has the highest nutrient density score of any vegetable ever tested, a perfect score. And it's one most people completely overlook: watercress. Rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, the two compounds that form the macular pigment layer, shielding your central vision from light damage and oxidative decay. Studies show that people with the highest lutein intake have significantly lower risk of developing the most severe forms of macular degeneration. Here's the critical part. Heat wrecks watercress. Boiling it for just 5 minutes can cut its lutein content nearly in half. So the preparation method that unlocks its full power is cold-pressed juicing. No heat at any stage. Run 2 cups of fresh watercress through a cold press or masticating juicer with half a cucumber and 1 teaspoon of flaxseed oil. The cucumber keeps it mild. The fat makes the carotenoids absorbable. Drink it 30 to 45 minutes before sleep. Liquid nutrients enter your bloodstream fast, within about 20 minutes. Your liver packages that lutein and sends it to the retina during your first deep sleep cycle. Research from Harvard's nutrition department found that evening consumption of lutein led to substantially higher macular pigment deposit rates compared to morning intake. Why? During the day, your body sends carotenoids to skin exposed to UV light. At night, your retina becomes the priority recipient. This is the kind of simple shift that makes a real difference over time. Okay, number 3. This one sounds exotic, but it's easier to use than you'd think, and the research behind it for eye health is remarkable. Moringa. The leaves of this tropical tree contain roughly 4 times more beta-carotene than carrots, gram for gram. They're also rich in lutein, zeaxanthin, and a compound called quercetin that helps protect the tiny blood vessels inside your retina from swelling and leaking. You're not going to find fresh moringa leaves at most grocery stores, and even when you do, they spoil fast. But dried moringa powder? That's where it gets interesting. The drying process concentrates the nutrients dramatically because water makes up about 75% of a fresh leaf. Remove the water, and you're left with an incredibly potent, shelf-stable powder. Here's how to use it for your eyes. Stir 1 level teaspoon into a cup of warm milk, dairy or plant-based, heated to about 60 degrees Celsius. Warm enough to dissolve smoothly, not so hot that it degrades the carotenoids. Then add a small pinch of black pepper. Don't skip this. The piperine in black pepper significantly increases the bioavailability of moringa's nutrients, meaning more of that goodness actually reaches your retina instead of getting broken down before it gets there. Drink it 20 to 30 minutes before bed. The milk also provides tryptophan to help you fall asleep faster, and better sleep means a longer, deeper repair window for your eyes. It's a 2-for-1. Number 2 surprised me when I first came across the research, because most people only think about goji berries, the fruit. But the leaves? They're in a different league entirely when it comes to eye health. Goji berry leaves are exceptionally rich in zeaxanthin, specifically a form called zeaxanthin dipalmitoyl ester, which research has shown to be far more bioavailable than the free-form zeaxanthin you find in most other foods. Studies have found that the leaves contain more total zeaxanthin per dry weight than the berries themselves, and the absorption rate is dramatically higher. Your macula literally runs on zeaxanthin. When levels drop, you start losing sharp central vision, the kind you need for reading, recognizing faces, and seeing fine detail. This is the mechanism behind age-related macular degeneration, and we have real tools to fight it. The preparation? Use dried goji leaves. The drying process cracks open the cell walls and makes the zeaxanthin accessible. Pour water that's around 80 degrees Celsius over 2 tablespoons of dried leaves. Steep for a full 8 to 10 minutes. Don't rush it. Studies have found that steeping for 8 minutes extracts more than twice the zeaxanthin compared to steeping for just 3 minutes. Drink it 40 minutes before sleep without sweeteners. Sugar competes with zeaxanthin for intestinal transport proteins and reduces absorption. If it tastes too earthy, Add a small squeeze of lemon. Vitamin C actually stabilizes zeaxanthin during digestion. This is the kind of detail that moves the needle. Clinical research has found that consistent nightly goji leaf tea consumption over several months can meaningfully increase macular pigment optical density, the gold standard measure of how protected your macula actually is. All right, number 1. And I want you to really hear this one because the research behind it is unlike anything else I've come across in years of studying longevity nutrition. Purple sweet potato. Not the orange variety, purple. The deep violet flesh gets its color from a very specific class of anthocyanins called peonidin and cyanidin glycosides. What makes them unique is their ability to cross the blood-retinal barrier in significant quantities and directly neutralize the reactive oxygen species that destroy photoreceptor cells over time. Clinical research following adults with early-stage retinal degeneration found striking improvements in scotopic vision, your ability to see in near darkness, as well as major reductions in retinal oxidative damage markers after sustained consumption. The numbers are genuinely impressive compared to any other single food intervention in the published literature. But here's where the preparation transforms this from good to extraordinary. You need to ferment it. When you lacto-ferment purple sweet potato paste, beneficial bacteria break the complex anthocyanin molecules into smaller, more absorbable fragments. Research has found that fermented purple sweet potato delivers nearly 4 times the bioavailable anthocyanin content compared to the same potato simply baked. 4 times, from the same vegetable, just a different preparation. And fermentation generates entirely new compounds, anthocyanin metabolites, that have even greater antioxidant potency than the originals. These metabolites have been shown to specifically accumulate in the retinal pigment epithelium, the critical support layer that keeps your photoreceptors alive. When that layer degrades, photoreceptors die. This is how permanent vision loss happens. Strengthening it is one of the most important things you can do for your long-term eyesight. Here's how to make it. Steam purple sweet potatoes until completely soft. Mash them thoroughly. Mix in a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt and 1 tablespoon of liquid from plain yogurt or whey. This introduces the lactobacillus bacteria for fermentation. Pack it tightly into a glass jar, seal loosely, and leave at room temperature for 48 to 72 hours. You'll notice a slightly tangy aroma. That's exactly what you want. Then, refrigerate. Each night before bed, eat 3 tablespoons of the chilled paste with a small handful of walnuts or a teaspoon of olive oil. Eat it cold. Reheating degrades the fermentation-produced compounds that make this so powerful. Do this consistently for 12 weeks, and you're doing something for your retinal pigment epithelium that no supplement on the market can replicate. 6 vegetables. 6 specific preparations, all working with your body's natural overnight repair cycle instead of against it. You don't have to start with all 6 tonight. Pick one. The fermented purple sweet potato paste if you want the most powerful option. The moringa milk if you want the simplest. Just start somewhere, because every night you give your eyes what they need is a night of real, measurable protection. This is what longevity actually looks like. Not waiting for a problem to get worse. Taking action now, with food, with timing, with knowledge. If this was useful to you, hit subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. I've got more research-backed longevity content coming your way, and I genuinely cannot wait to share it. Leave a comment below. Which of these 6 are you going to try first? I'll be right there reading every single one. See you in the next one. Take care of those eyes. They're the only ones you've got.